What's up, guys, and welcome back. We're home. I know I said I wasn't gonna deadhead that far, but there was nothing on the load board, and I was able to get hooked up with two really good paying loads. They obviously required a bit of deadhead, but I found a truck stop that has an amazing deal on diesel. So I only spent about $100, $110 to deadhead here, and it's right along my route to deliver both of the units. So it's an acceptable deadhead just to do the two units. It's not something I would repeatedly run. Well, I don't know if they kept paying this rate per mile, I might. I mean, looking at probably 600, maybe 700 profit for one day's work. I might. So we're here. We're gonna go pick up at that dealership that's, the one I'm always at 9 miles down the road. Pick up there. We got two of those, so we'll get those knocked out. Yeah, we'll get one knocked out tomorrow. Pick up the other one, try and get the other one picked up. At that point, I'll have to do a reset, but we'll be right here. So, the title of the video: a minor confrontation? I don't know, that's not really the right word. Interaction. We'll go interaction with California Highway Patrol. Well, cruising along, dropped a unit, was on my way to pick up the next unit, and all of a sudden, I'm seeing this accident ahead, lanes closed. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. It happens all the time. It's California. And pretty soon, the freeway comes to a halt. Okay, that's weird. And then they're funneling all of us off of I-5. Okay, cool. And I'm watching everyone go and going down this road, and they're doing a U-turn, which is exactly what my GPS is telling me to do. So I'm going, okay, GPS is saying do this. There's all these semis doing this. I don't ever run California, so I don't know these roads. So I'm gonna assume that my GPS knows what it's talking about. And we loop around, and then we all stop. I'm like, well, great. This is no better. And the semis start going away, and I'm like, okay, cool. Start following my GPS again. And then right in front of me, there's a cop blocking the on-ramp, lights on, but he's facing backwards. So he's looking at oncoming traffic. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to see if I can pull up my map and find another route that gets me up where I need to go. So I'm looking at my map, and he goes, "We're not parking on the shoulder," over his loudspeaker thing. We're not parking on the shoulder. And I look up at him, and I, okay, got it, shake my head, thumbs up, and I go back to try and find my a route. Now, let me show you, so that I have access to my GPS at all times. My phone sits right there, so it's in my face. So I'm thinking, cool, I'm fine. And over the loudspeaker, "You in the Ford, that means you. We're not parking on the shoulder." And I look up at him, and very calmly, I just, "God, don't be an asshole." Well, apparently some people know how to read lips. because he very promptly and expeditiously came to my door. And I look at him and I said, I know I can't park here. I'm not sure if you noticed, Idaho plates. I don't live here. I'm trying to find a route. All of a sudden, his attitude changed. He was much friendlier. So, moral of the story is, be careful what you say, even if no one can hear you. He did end up telling me how to get out of the situation I was in and gave me a route, and I thanked him, and that was the end of it. However, we get on this road, and it's this twisty mountain, but 2-lane back road. And it went up into to Tehachapi, California, on the 58, I believe. So from the 5, south of Leblock, something like that, took this back road, and there's all these semis, and this is not a road that semis should be on. I mean, the corners aren't stupid tight, but they're tight enough to make it unpleasant, and then the steep hills and corners on the hills, and like, you know, these trucks are fighting to do 15-20 miles an hour. Well, I'm behind one, I get dotted lines, and just as I get ready to go around him, the cars behind me start peeling off, because I'm not gonna just mat the throttle and peg the boost gauge and rip on the truck, and I'm trying to get 500,000 at a minimum out of this truck. So as soon as the gap came, I started to ease on the throttle, and a bunch of cars behind me, zing, 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 zing. Okay, cool, I'll let them go. So now I went from being the lead of the 4 of us to being the tail of the 4 of us. Well, we all take off. We couldn't see around the semi, obviously, and there's another semi in front of him. It's not like he can't keep up with this guy. Like, this guy's way ahead of him. Well, the 3 cars get in there, and I go to squeeze in because now there's traffic coming, and everyone's on their brakes. So I'm on my brakes, and I start merging in, and there's room. There's probably, I mean, it's tight, but there's probably 2-3 car lengths between my back bumper and the front of the semi. Well, apparently that was not okay with him. And his response was to come flying up like he was going to hit me and start laying on his air horn. And I just, okay, you were doing well under the speed limit, and myself and several other people were around you, so don't care about your feelings. Well, when that didn't get a reaction out of me, his next response was to fly into the shoulder, so he's bouncing in the dirt, come up, and I was able to see in my mirror his headlight was right here, like that far off my truck, and he starts wiggling over like he's gonna come at me. The hell is your problem, dude? And he did that a couple times and kept tailgating me and blowing his air horn like, you're not pissing me off. You're not. Just keep going. Well, after about 10 miles of that, I'd had enough. And I had a lot of thoughts go through my head, and I chose to not take those courses of action. Instead, I got his trailer number, and I called his company. I said, hey, here's what your driver's doing. You know, I get it. I get frustrated behind the wheel. I yell at people with my windows up, but I don't ever try and assault them with my vehicle. There's a bit of a difference there. You know, you want to be pissed off and flip me the bird and yell, cool. Like, I get it. I do it. It makes you feel better. Fine. But there's a line, especially if who are supposed to be professional drivers out here. And I've talked about this before. I've had other semis do similar things. I talked about it in a video months ago. If that's how you react to someone passing you because you're doing 20 under the speed limit, you probably need to find a different job. And based on the conversation I had with the safety personnel at his carrier, I think he is finding a different job. Moral of the story, don't be an asshole. Anyway, with that, as always, those of you out on the roads, I wish you fair winds and following seas. Take care and have a great day.